All right, so let's get into this really quickly. First of all, that's kind of cool. I like the purple on Queen Sindel, and it looks kind of cool on Geras. Anyway, so this is part 2 of the Mortal Kombat 1 technical post-mortem. I'm going to go through the entire roster very quickly and share some thoughts on what I think about the characters. I will not include cameos. I'm talking just about the baseline character before any cameos. But I will talk about how some characters synergize with cameos and maybe show some examples. But before we get in and actually start pressing buttons and diving into all the different characters, let's start off. Let me start off with like a basic overview tier list, and we'll kind of work from there. Okay, so I've gone into tier list maker. Now, let me think. I think there need to be a couple of categories. So A tier, I think, is going to be for complete characters, right? Like in terms of their toolkit, their game plan, their special moves. I think A tier is for characters that are complete. And then B tier is going to be for characters that are semi-complete. Okay, they're not yet fully baked. They probably needed a bit more work to make them complete, but they're semi-complete. They can do a lot just by themselves, and they don't need cameos or excessive gimmicks. Then we'll go to C. I'm going to call these characters half-baked. Essentially, a character whereby there are things within their toolkit that just don't mesh with other parts of their toolkit, and they probably needed some work to really get there. Okay, to really get there. These are going to be the half-baked characters. And then S would be for anything which is actually complete, but you know what, no way. I think let me delete S. Okay. I personally think that every character in this game is probably going to be between half-baked and complete. In other words, could I put this character as they are right now in an actually good Mortal Kombat game like MKX, and would they be able to survive? Let's see. So I need to recreate half-baked. Half-baked. Okay. So that's the tier list. Let me get in a bit more zoom so that we can see it a bit more clearly. Okay, so I'll start with Shao Kahn. Let's see. I think Shao Kahn is half-baked. I think that first of all, they got rid of his hammer. Okay, they got rid of his hammer. That's a bit of a problem. He also has an overhead that is super slow, doesn't lead to anything, and is super punishable, and only combos with certain specific cameos. And also, why is he stronger when he puts down his axe? Half-baked. Okay, but that's, I mean, when we reach the move list, this may change. Okay, but we'll start off with Shao Kahn at the bottom of half-baked. Melina. I think Melina is half-baked. There is no reason for her size to not go full screen. It's a basic projectile. And I don't think she gets enough reward out of even landing her size. Her amplified size, for some reason, costs 2 bars of meter. And she has some buttons which don't make any sense for why they work the way they work. Okay. Next, Tanya. I think Tanya is also under half-baked. I think she goes under half-baked. She has a nice gimmick where she can, like, she has an install, which is kind of cool. But a lot of her strings that should combo don't. And she has only one single way to actually launch people and get, she has basically one launcher, fundamentally. So, yeah, Tanya, I'll put her under half-baked. I think Scorpion's also half-baked, very half-baked. His move list is very substandard. Barely has any strings. He has like 1 or 2 combo types in his entire kit. With cameos, I think he has a bit of sauce, but he needs cameos to cover up for a lot of what makes him horrible. Sub-Zero. Hold up. Hold up, hold up. I've added a row below. Sub-Zero. I think Sub-Zero belongs in his own special little category. Okay, let me make sure he's blue, as all Sub-Zeros should be. I think Sub-Zero is here, and we'll get into why. But like fundamentally, he doesn't combo off Ice Ball. And I think that the devs have, like, they've done a whole song and dance and jumped up and down and added in another. I'm like, bro, all of these problems could have been solved by, why doesn't he combo into Ice Ball? Would have been that simple. Okay. Next, we have Sindel. I personally think that Sindel is basically half baked. She's a real. I think she's above. I think she's above Scorpion and above Tanya. I think in terms of like half. Oh shit! Actually, Sindel is probably above General Shao, and I just remembered Shao Kahn has a projectile that's absolutely useless for some reason. Shao Kahn might actually need to be below Tanya. Yeah, we'll get into this. But yeah, Sindel is also half-baked, but she's at the point where baseline Sindel honestly should have gone into semi-complete. But after the most recent nerf they did to her, I think she deserves to be at the top of half-baked. Okay, we have Reiko. Ooh, I think Reiko is half-baked. There's no reason why this guy should have started the game off as the best zoner in Mortal Kombat 1. There's no reason why. We have no idea why, and he was supposedly a grappler. Also, his moves don't make sense, and we don't know why they gave his legs a super extended hitbox. But we'll get into that. Okay. Honestly, I have no idea where to place Homelander. And I'm sorry, I rather Peacemaker. And I don't feel like touching Peacemaker. I think that he's really cool, but I'll come back to the guests later. I think Lui Kang is extremely half-baked. He's one of the most boring characters to play. His moves, it's basically just strike throw. He's entirely built around strike throw and projectiles. I also don't know why his non-amplified air projectile fires out like a billion projectiles. Like, bro, why? Anyway, Kung Lao. Kung Lao, I struggle. And I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong. Also, yes, you're not smoking weed. That was a Discord notification. I had a friend of mine and he's like, dude, why are you playing Mortal Kombat 1? Why are you playing this game? I've just told, honestly, I told him I'm making a post-mortem. Okay, so back to the tier list. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about Kung Lao. I'm going to call him semi-complete. Keep in mind, this is not a tier list of whether or not this character is good. Okay, it's about, are they complete, semi-complete, or half-baked? This is not about character strength, or are they Sub-Zero? It's not about character strength. It's just half-baked, semi-complete, complete. Anyway. Okay, next up, Rain. I personally think Rain is where we start going into characters that are complete. I think Rain is a complete character. Hold up. He's probably at the bottom of... No way. He's not complete. I think he's better than Kung Lao, but Rain is also semi-complete. He has a projectile that takes 1,000,000 years to come out for some reason. He has a ball that's supposed to hide what he's doing. That doesn't hide anything. Semi-complete. Okay, I'm going to come back to Omni-Man. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Havoc. I think Havoc, honestly, before you start adding in cameos, I think Havoc is a half-baked character. Half-baked. I think he's very half-baked, but man, he got some nerfs. No, after his buffs though. I think, let me put him at semi-complete, but definitely below Kung Lao. Kung Lao kinda sucks, but let me leave Havoc there. I'll go into the explanation why. But the overview is, He does have a low launcher. He has multiple launchers. He has multiple combo routes. And he has a lot of setups and strong gimmicks, like the basically unblockable neck break, which is really cool. I think semi-complete is there, but if he wasn't only strong because of his busted 50-50, he could push for complete. But anyway, we'll come back to that. Shang Tsung. I think Shang Tsung, man, this is so rough. This feels really rough. But I think Shang Tsung probably just goes above Reiko. He's a good freaking character. He's reasonably good. I don't know. This is a hard one. I'm probably wrong about this, but let me put him at half baked. But really, it's hard. It's difficult. It varies so much by who's piloting him, right? And should I put a character up if they are kind of strong, but only when they are piloted to perfection? Man, I don't know. I'll come back to this. Okay, we have Quan Chi. Quan Chi, in a weird roundabout way, would probably be vying for semi-complete. In a weird roundabout way, he could seriously vie for it, because some of his buttons are great in terms of range and mixability. But the problem is, you watch any video of MKX of MKX Quan Chi, and you're like, this one's kind of dry. Okay. Okay, these guest characters, we'll come back to them. Baraka, in my view, Baraka is a complete character. Without any cameos, without any of that degenerate Kano nonsense, I think as a character, he's complete. He has a projectile, overhead starter, low starter. He has a good armor breaker. He has enough strings. I think he's under complete. He has one super useless string, but we'll get into that when we actually touch the characters. Raiden. Raiden is a complete character. He has a projectile, a teleport, overhead, not a launcher, but he has an overhead. It exists. And he has a low, actually has a low starter and an overhead which just splats, which I think is a good compromise for a character. So it's nice to see him over there. Yeah, that's cool. Reptile, I think, is very much a complete character, probably more complete than Raiden. He's stronger than Baraka, but I have so many issues with how Reptile was designed, and I don't think he's a very well designed character. I think they kind of messed up with him. But in terms of strength and complete kit, his kit is complete, and he's probably too strong for what he is. But that's fine. We have Smoke. I think Smoke, honestly, Smoke is a complete character. I know there are many people who will downplay him and say that doesn't have this, but fundamentally, Smoke is a complete character. He has everything he needs within his kit without needing to pull out a cameo for anything. So Smoke goes under complete. His invisibility is degenerate, but we'll get into that when we touch the characters. Ashra is a complete character. Actually, Ashra belongs somewhere here, because she has a normal standard hit launching overhead, a normal standard hit low. Ashra is fantastic. I think she's a very complete character. In theory, she lacks a projectile, but she has some of the best armor. Basically, she can fade through your projectile and hit you, or she can hit you from far. Actually, I'm tempted to put Ashra above Baraka, honestly. We'll see. But seriously, very good, well-made character. Okay, Johnny Cage. Personally, I think that Johnny Cage is at the top of semi-complete. He's strong. Yes, he's strong. He's probably stronger than most of the characters up here. But in terms of his buttons, I think semi-complete is not a bad place to put him. Actually, maybe at the bottom of complete. I think Johnny Cage is there. Bottom of complete, that will be fine. I mean, he literally has a parry in his kit, which most people in this entire roster don't have. Next, Nitara. I think that Nitara is a complete character. Without a single cameo, she can get great damage. She has a projectile that needs you to use her in store. She has low and overhead mix. She has ways to cancel out of her strings. She has great air mobility. Honestly, I wish I could just put a star on the chest of the person who designed her moveset. Her moveset is outstandingly great and she's fun to play. Okay, she's really fun to play. Okay, next. Ooh, we have uh we have Amak. Amak is at the top of semi-complete. I think his moveset is really fantastic. Man, he's fun to play. He's great. He just has like 2 or 3 things which were not well thought out, in my opinion, that needed some work. Okay, next. Okay, Ghostface, you stay there. Sector. Sector is a fully complete character. I think she's personally more complete than Reptile. Honestly, she probably needs to be at the top of this tier list as far as a complete character. She has everything. She has a she has good armor. She has a teleport. She has a projectile and a projectile that can eat through projectiles and a projectile deflect. She has moves she can cancel out of. She has air mobility like Nitara. She has, my god, Sector is so much fun and swaggy to play. And man, she has sauce in her combos by herself. No cameo needed. She has sauce for days. Whoever made Sector and thought up her move list, great friggin' job. I think Sector is fantastic. Okay, next. I also think that Noob Cybot is a complete character. He has overhead low, he has a teleport, he has a projector. Are we seeing something? His kit is complete and he has some of the best strings in the entire game. In the entire game, he has some of the best multi-hitting, hit confirmable strings leading to combos. Man, he's good. He's good. Honestly, I feel like putting him above Sector, but Sector is kind of pretty. So this is personal bias, but you can interchange these two. Very well made characters, complete. Li Mei, man, I feel like putting her at like, I don't know. I feel like putting her at like the bottom of complete. She has she has good hit confirmable strings. She has a good projectile that can lead into combos. She has a reasonable amount of mix. She has good stagger game. She has good mids. She has some like air projectiles as well as an air overhead kick that you can make instant. She also has a move which can punish a down one for a full combo, although that needs a cameo. So taking her as a character by herself, I think she's really good. And her risk reward is well designed because a lot of her launchers, she dies for them. So I think she's well designed. Good character. Kitana. I personally think Kitana is a complete character. I would probably put her above Smoke in terms of completeness. Honestly, I would probably put her above Raiden as well. I think she's just a better Raiden in every way. Okay, I think she's just better. She's more fun. She has more different ways to play her. She has setups. She can use wind bomb. She can teleport away. She can not teleport but fly away. I think she's good. Okay. Okay, next. Takeda Takahashi. I think Takeda is, man, Takeda is a tough one. He's a tough cookie. He's a really, really tough cookie. I think that he's semi-complete. I think the things about him that are lacking are simply just coming from, I don't know why they've made these design decisions. Actually, in a way, he's kind of on the way to being called half-baked. I think actually after the nerfs, no. I'm going to put him here. Yeah, I'm putting him below Sindel. I think he needed some more time to be perfected. The funny thing is, although he's down over here, honestly, with a few changes, he would shoot up. He would skip over semi-complete, and he would be right next to Noob Saibot because he has the potential. But this is a rough one because he's one of the most fun characters to play. But I'm going to explain in detail why I think he's half-baked. But please, he's still well designed, and that's something that's important. I personally think that Tanya's design is kind of terrible. Okay, and I think it's within the realm as Takida's, but Takida is way more fun to play than someone like I think Takida is way more fun to play than Kung Lao. I think he's way more fun. This is not a strength tier list. It's just the character by themselves with just the moveset. I think he's half-baked. But damn, he's good stuff. Okay? Geras, holy shit. Geras, I think, deserves to be at the bottom of the complete characters. Fuck, it's hard. This is hard. But the reason why is because all in all, his buttons are quite reasonably good. He is generally a complete character. He has one low starter. He can mix you with an in-string overhead. I think he's going to drop. Once I actually go into the buttons, he's going to drop, but I'm going to tentatively put him at the top of A. Okay, next, Kenshi. I think Kenshi is semi-complete, probably at the top of semi-complete. I like him a lot. I think he has a lot of sauce, but he also suffers from the degeneracy syndrome, being hit from the back by the ancestor while he's mixing you with overhead low in front. I think he's semi-complete. I also think his sword overhead doesn't look like an overhead. It looks like a mid. When I get into the strings, I'm going to talk about Kenshi, but let me put him in semi-complete, not good enough. Now Cyrax. I personally think that Cyrax suffers from half-baked syndrome. She's just really, really half-baked. And Cyrax, my two favorite characters in the game, by the way, are Ashra and Cyrax. I really enjoy playing Ashra the most because she's great in neutral. I like Cyrax for a different reason because this game has so much bullshit. Cyrax is one of the few characters where I can boil the game down to guess against the most degenerate characters in this game. That's the big reason why I like her. I also like how she looks. I wasn't one of the Cyrax stans on the original games, so I know that the character was swapped, which made a lot of fans unhappy. Honestly, I would probably also not be happy. In my head canon, these two are the daughters of the original Sector and Cyrax from the other timelines, because this chick, Sector, is literally the daughter of the Amara. But anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. But this character I like a lot. And also, she's from Africa. I have nothing else to say. It is what it is. Okay, then we have the guests. I'm going to touch the guests when we come to the move lists, but fundamentally, I don't have much to say about the guests simply because I don't value them highly. I think guest characters in Mortal Kombat, when we have characters we like that are nowhere to be seen or they are cameos, like I like T1000, but it's hard for me to like playing as T1000 when Sonya is running around as a cameo. I would have loved to play some Ghostface. It's just for the fansies. I grew up watching Scream. But the problem is, why is Jax just a cameo? Homelander looks kinda cool. Big evil Superman character. Why is my MK11 main a cameo? Frost. Why am I playing this? Conan Arnold, we've seen you so much, but it's good to have you here. I think the guest characters are special, But I'm more doing this Mortal Kombat 1 post-mortem, explaining why the game fundamentally needed a bit more love and a bit more technical care. So these are not super important to me, but I'm going to touch them in the next video. So next up, I'm going to go through the actual move lists of these characters. I'll start with the guests, and explain why they are where they are and why Sub-Zero is in his own special little category. Let's go.